The electric vehicle market is experiencing a fascinating transformation, and standing at the forefront of this revolution is the BYD Atto 2. After spending considerable time with this compact electric SUV, I can confidently say it represents something genuinely significant in the automotive landscape. This isn't just another electric vehicle trying to check boxes on a sustainability checklist. It's a thoughtfully designed car that happens to be electric. Let me start with what immediately strikes you about the Atto 2, its size. At 4,310 millimeters long, 1,830 millimeters wide, and 1,675 millimeters tall, it occupies that sweet spot in the compact SUV segment that so many manufacturers are desperately trying to perfect. What's remarkable is how BYD has managed to create a vehicle that feels neither cramped nor oversized. The 2,620mm wheelbase is particularly clever engineering, maximizing interior space while maintaining the nimble handling characteristics that make city driving genuinely enjoyable. The design comes from the pen of Wolfgang Egger, the former Audi, Lamborghini, and Alfa Romeo designer who clearly understands that electric vehicles don't need to look like they've arrived from another planet. The Atto 2's exterior is refreshingly restrained, with clean lines and proportions that feel contemporary without being confrontational. It's the kind of design that won't embarrass you in 5 years' time, which is more than you can say for some of its more flamboyant competitors. Step inside, and you're greeted by what I can only describe as a mature approach to interior design. Gone are the guitar string door handles and dumbbell air vents that made the Atto such a polarizing proposition. Instead, BYD has opted for a more conventional layout that prioritizes functionality over flashiness. The materials feel premium for this price point, with eco-friendly vegan leather seats that don't feel like a compromise. There's a solidity to the cabin that suggests BYD has learned valuable lessons about what international customers actually want. The technology package centers around that now familiar rotating 12.8-inch touchscreen, accompanied by an 8.8-inch digital instrument cluster. I'll admit, I was initially skeptical about the rotating screen, dismissing it as a gimmick. However, after living with it for several weeks, I found myself genuinely appreciating the ability to optimize the display for different functions. Portrait mode works brilliantly for navigation, while landscape is perfect for media playback. The system supports both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, though it's worth noting that smartphone mirroring only works in landscape mode. What impressed me most about the infotainment system is its responsiveness. Too many automotive touchscreens suffer from laggy performance that makes simple tasks frustrating. The Atto 2's system feels snappy and well integrated, with logical menu structures that don't require a computer science degree to navigate. The inclusion of 4G connectivity enables over-the-air updates, ensuring the vehicle can evolve throughout its ownership lifecycle. Now, let's talk about the driving experience, because this is where the Atto 2 truly shines. The 130 kilowatts electric motor delivers power in that characteristically smooth, progressive manner that makes electric vehicles so compelling for daily use. The claimed 0 to 100 kilometers per hour time of 7.9 seconds might not sound spectacular on paper, but it's more than adequate for real-world driving. What matters more is how the power delivery feels natural and predictable, making the transition from traditional internal combustion engines remarkably seamless. The battery configuration varies by market, with the UK receiving a larger 51.1 kilowatt-hour pack compared to the 45.1 kilowatt-hour battery used in other European markets. This larger battery should provide a range significantly higher than the 312 kilometers WLTP figure quoted for the smaller pack, though BYD hasn't yet confirmed exact UK range figures. Based on the Australian specification, with similar battery size delivering 345 kilometers WLTP range, real-world driving should comfortably exceed 300 kilometers in mixed conditions. The inclusion of heat pump technology helps maintain efficiency in colder climates, addressing one of the persistent concerns about electric vehicle performance in winter. Charging is handled through both AC and DC connections, with support for 65 kilowatts DC fast charging. While this isn't the fastest charging rate available, it's perfectly adequate for the vehicle's battery size and intended use case. During my time with the Atto 2, I found that overnight charging at home covered the vast majority of my needs, with occasional top-ups during longer journeys. The driving dynamics deserve special mention. The low center of gravity, courtesy of the battery placement, contributes to stable, confident handling that never feels nervous or unsettled. The steering provides appropriate feedback without being overly heavy, while the suspension strikes an effective balance between comfort and control. This isn't a sports car, and it doesn't pretend to be one. Instead, it's a well-sorted family vehicle that happens to be genuinely enjoyable to drive. Build quality represents a significant step forward for BYD. Panel gaps are consistent, materials feel durable, and there's an overall sense of solidity that suggests serious quality control improvements. The warranty package is particularly impressive, offering 6 years or 90,000 miles for the vehicle and 8 years or 120,000 miles for the battery pack, which exceeds many competitors' coverage. The boot offers 400 liters of cargo space, expanding to 1,340 liters with the rear seats folded down. This is competitive for the class and proves adequate for most family needs. The rear seats themselves offer reasonable space for adults, though taller passengers might find headroom a bit tight. Equipment levels are generous, with the UK specification including 17-inch alloy wheels, LED lighting, a 360-degree camera system, heated front seats, and a heated steering wheel. These features come as standard rather than expensive options, which helps justify the vehicle's positioning in the marketplace. Pricing remains somewhat uncertain, with estimates suggesting the Atto 2 will cost around £30,000 when it arrives in the UK market. If this proves accurate, it would position the vehicle competitively against established rivals like the Hyundai Kona Electric. The value proposition becomes even more compelling when you consider the comprehensive equipment package and lengthy warranty coverage. The Atto 2 faces a crowded marketplace filled with capable competitors, but it brings something subtly different to the table. This isn't a vehicle trying to revolutionize transportation or make grand statements about the future of mobility. Instead, it's a thoroughly practical, well-executed electric SUV that removes many of the barriers that have traditionally prevented mainstream adoption of electric vehicles. Perhaps most importantly, the Atto 2 doesn't feel like a compromise. It's not asking you to sacrifice comfort, convenience, or capability in the name of environmental responsibility. Instead, it presents electric mobility as a natural evolution of automotive technology, one that brings tangible benefits in terms of refinement, running costs, and driving experience. For many potential buyers, the Atto 2 will represent their first serious consideration of electric vehicle ownership. BYD has created a vehicle that makes this transition as painless as possible, removing the anxiety and uncertainty that often accompanies new technology adoption. The result is a car that feels familiar and reassuring while delivering the benefits that make electric vehicles so compelling. The BYD Atto 2 might not be the most exciting electric vehicle on the market, but it might just be one of the most important. In a segment filled with vehicles trying to dazzle with impressive specifications or radical design, the Atto 2 succeeds by simply being a very good car that happens to be electric. For the mainstream market, this approach may prove to be exactly what's needed to accelerate the transition to electric mobility.